If you like puzzle games, then you're in the right place. If you don't like puzzle games, then go watch one of my other videos on the many other genres of free Steam games I've covered. With my shameless plug out of the way, let's get into the top 5 free puzzle games on Steam you don't know about. Gravitas is a first-person puzzle platforming game where you solve puzzles by creating gravity tunnels. It's clearly inspired by Portal, considering its main mechanic is the same as one of the puzzle elements in Portal. Your robot companion, known as the Curator, is in charge of the gallery along with a helper robot named She. The Curator reminded me of Wheatley since he's your companion throughout the game and has hilarious dialogue that constantly refers to your actions.
So to appreciate my revolution, or just interrupt me by immediately grabbing a mysterious glove that you know literally nothing about.
I loved the dialogue between the Curator and She. She is just this happy little helper robot who runs the gallery, while the Curator is trying to run his tests on you that may or may not have an ulterior motive, so they end up clashing in their goals, resulting in some very funny banter.
Alert. Main generator coolant system malfunction. Attempting
I'm sorry,
manual
she has just been so
Failure.
desperate for attention lately. Just ignore her.
Because the gallery only features cubes, since the egotistical Curator is a cube, the puzzles implement cubes into them, where you have to block lasers or smash through glass in a physics-based puzzle, for example. The later puzzles even have cubes that spawn gravity tunnels on them. This scaling level of difficulty was a satisfying challenge without ever becoming frustrating. Although the game only lasts about an hour, it still feels complete since all of the levels, characters, and story are really polished. So if you like Portal or games with funny, well-written characters, then I recommend Gravitas. Helltaker is a grid-based puzzle game where you traverse through hell in search of love from demon girls. The puzzles have a grid-based design, and your goal is to make it to the demonic girl at the end of every puzzle with a limited number of moves at your disposal. Once you reach the demon girl, you pick between 2 answers to try and win her love. If you pick wrong, you have to restart the level, and if you pick right, she joins your harem and you move on to the next level. In the levels, there are hazards like rocks that work like slide puzzles, skeletons that you can knock back and kill if they're up against a wall, and spikes you either have to avoid or time correctly if they move in conjunction with your moves. Even though the game only has a few mechanics, the puzzles get very difficult in the second half of the game because of the high amount of correct moves required to solve them. The game's final level consists of a really good boss fight that allows you infinite moves, testing your reaction time instead of your puzzle solving skills. Even though there's only a handful of levels, it took me about an hour to complete, so if you like puzzle games that put your logic skills to the test, or have a really specific fantasy about having a polyamorous relationship with a bunch of girl demons, then I recommend Helltaker. Astria is another first-person puzzle platformer inspired by the Portal series. You have to go through a series of floors to make your way to the heart of Astria at the end of the game. The core of the game is solving puzzles with the various abilities you find every few levels. You have a hookshot type ability where you can pull yourself up to different parts of a level, the ability to shoot electric orbs at certain objects to activate them, the ability to throw objects or blow them up, the ability to create environmental elements, and lastly, the ability to deflect lasers that you can create. These abilities all layer on top of each other, and you have to use all of them to solve the later puzzles. The last few are insanely difficult because of this, and I'm sad to report that I did have to look up a walkthrough.
You suck!
There's also slide puzzles you have to solve during levels that get more and more layered the farther you get into the game. You end up having to solve them in different ways to both activate something in the environment and turn on the elevator at the end of the level. I do wish the game had more unique environments and a better presented story instead of going through the same cave environment and reading text after every level. Astria really nails the sense of progression and thoughtful level design even if it doesn't have a strong identity. The game takes at least 3 hours to beat, so if you're looking for a lengthier free game that's really challenging and has a constant sense of progression, then I recommend Astria. Birdgut is a 2D puzzle platformer where you play as a deformed bee who gets kicked out of his hive at birth only to be eaten by a bird who's inhabited by brainwashed and enslaved insects. I really liked all the varied environments this game has with its hand-drawn minimalist style and wide array of insect inhabitants. After the opening section, you find out there's a group of non-brainwashed insects who have been waiting for a non-brainwashed bug without a hat to save them because that's what it says in their prophecy for some reason, so naturally this sends you on the rest of your quest. The environmental challenges consist of puzzle sections, platforming sections, and sections where you have to either avoid or kill enemies. Oftentimes you'll be doing a mix of 2 or 3 of these at the same time, so you're always doing something new. The environmental puzzles and platforming challenges are relatively easy compared to the other games on the list, but still rewarding because of the solutions that test your logic and/or skill. Even though the game only lasts about an hour, there's tons of variety in the challenges, so you'll never be bored. If you like puzzle platforming games or charming worlds, then I recommend Bird Gut. Old TV is a speed puzzler where you have to think quickly in order to solve puzzles before the timer runs out. The puzzles are time-based and you have to be sure the color of the word matches what the word says. If the color is blue, for example, and the word is blue, you'd left-click for true. Or if the color is blue but the word says red, you'd right-click for false. If you get an answer wrong, you have to restart from the beginning of the level, which creates a nice tension between wanting to go fast but still being accurate. It sounds easy, but is surprisingly hard since your brain is processing 2 things at once and the pressure of the timer makes it really hard to do quickly. It's all accompanied by a fast-paced soundtrack to make it even more intense. As you progress, the game will throw variations into the mix, like words that are upside down, or reverse the controls on you so left click is false and right click is true. There's achievements in the game that give you currency which you can use to buy upgrades. I got through all of the levels in about 30 minutes, but I still have tons of achievements left to unlock. If you like fast-paced puzzle games where you have to fully focus the whole time, then I recommend Old TV. You guys are so lucky to still be watching this video because I have 2 bonus games!
Let's go!
Strange Creatures is a puzzle game where you play as one of 4 creatures, each with a unique ability. Your goal is to solve puzzles and escape the Wicked Lab. I played as Arlo the Cataconda. Jesus, that felt stupid to say. His, maybe her, I don't know. His power was the ability to stretch long distances, which felt pretty useless for the most part. The puzzles mostly boil down to you searching for buttons or batteries to put somewhere in order to activate a door or platform. If you're looking for an easy 20-minute long puzzle game with a cute art style, then I recommend Strange Creatures. The Old Tree is a 10-minute long point-and-click cinematic puzzle game about a newborn baby alien trying to emerge from its underground lair. The puzzles are pretty easy, but I mainly played to watch the journey of the baby alien. It's got a great somber art style with a soundtrack to match. If you're looking for a chill cinematic type puzzle game, then I recommend The Old Tree. Those were the top 5 free puzzle games on Steam you didn't know about. If you're looking for more free Steam games you don't know about, I'll have my free Steam games playlist linked in the description down below. Thanks for watching and don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up with this ongoing series.